Well, good evening. Hey, my dog's in the shop. My dog's even more in the shop. That's better. Yeah, she's still in the shop. Whatever. So hey, it's another spooky stream. Brewers are on soon. My wife's getting back from vacation tonight, so yeah, thought I would check out one last quick Castlevania game. This is versus Castlevania. This is technically an arcade game. No music again. I got the intro, but not the regular music. It looks like there's some weird tile stuff going on. That might be from hacking the game to make it work on a regular NES. It might also be why there's no music. Or maybe I just let the track mode play too long again. Whoa. Yeah, some of these tiles are doing weird things, and I think, I suspect that's to do with hacking in arcade system games that it works on an actual NES, because that is what's happening here. Boy, that's going to be distracting, isn't it? Let's reset and see what we get. Well, it claims to be fixed in the description of the file. So let's see. It's supposed to be a flaw with Castlevania of any stripe. If you let it play too long in the attract mode, the music just doesn't play. So yeah, I think this thing where half the screen turns into something else, that's just a byproduct of hacking the game to run on a real NES instead of the Versus arcade hardware. If I had more time, I'd probably see if I could get it to run MAME instead of on an NES, but the Brewers start at 7:39 tonight, Eastern Time, so I'm not really going to mess around with that too much. I'm really interested in seeing just sort of the general differences, kind of ignoring the fact that the level is constantly changing behind me. Because my understanding is that they made the game even harder for this version than it was on the NES, so we'll see about that, I guess. That's going to be super distracting. I guess I have to find where the stairs actually are. That's good. Well, I'll tell you, it's going to be really hard if... I didn't really want that stopwatch. I never want the stopwatch. Hey, look, a bag of money. Yikes. This is going to be hard to keep track of how much the level layouts have changed if they keep just like distorting directly behind me. Or it could be because I'm playing this on a Famicom instead of an NES. That shouldn't make a difference, I wouldn't think, but... Excuse me. feels like you take more damage than in regular Castlevania here. That's going to be really... That's never going to stop being distracting. Like, there's not actually a pit here. It's just the graphics getting weird. I feel like those points things were added. I think that used to be meat or something. I don't know. I probably should have kept better track. If I was doing an episode on this, I would be keeping better track of, you know, what's what here. Now again, definitely feels like you take more damage. I believe that I've heard that the time limit is shorter as well, but I haven't actually... I don't know what the time limits were in the NES version to sort of compare, so... I mean, I guess at least the... Now that I'm scrolling left, this is even worse, because all the changes were happening behind me before. Now they're happening in front of me, and I'm falling down a pit. So I can continue. Again, I have my concerns about how this is going to go. Probably largely the same way, because, you know, I can't see where the pits are. I can remember where that one is. That doesn't mean I'm going to remember where the future ones are. Camerister says the bat alone was 4 points of health. Yeah, I really feel like the damage is upped here. But again, the graphical distortions are not present in the original arcade. They're not invisible pits, so far as I know, in the actual Versus System arcade version. That is... That is due to the hacky nature of this version, which again could be because it's hacked to play on an NES and I'm playing on a Famicom. I don't feel like that should make a difference because the pinouts are different. It could be. Because I've been told that, you know, these do run with a little bit of hacking and manipulation, and the ROM set that I have is supposed to be a, you know, fairly complete. Definitely did not want to do that. Yeah, the ROM set I have is supposed to be pretty complete, and I don't... It seems weird, you know, that it would... That something this hacked together would find its way into a ROM set. Yeah, oh boy, really did not want to do that. This is going to be a problem. Well, actually, now I'm going to the right, so maybe it won't be that much of a problem. Now we're just getting junk data thrown in here. Whoops. The platform was there. Duh. Kimeristico says these streams have been awesome, man. Well, I do my best. I keep getting that stupid knife. Wow. So there is absolutely no question that the damage done to Simon is increased in this version. That I can say for sure. I kind of have my doubts that I'm going to make it past this stage by the end of this stream, just because of the weird graphical distortions and having to remember exactly where all the pits are and the increased damage and all that stuff. So, we'll see. I was actually thinking about playing that Lacard Chronicles 2 that people had mentioned in one of the earlier streams. But I didn't, since this is going to be a shorter stream, I didn't want to limit it. I didn't want to be like, oh, well, I'm going to do Lacard Chronicles 2, and I'm going to play it for like 25 minutes. I didn't want to do that, so that's why I settled on versus Castlevania. Not knowing the graphical distortions would be this distracting. No! Ah! I had holy water, which is really what you want for the stage boss in this level, and wow. So I was going to posit that the Versus arcade system, wow, you take so much damage in this version. I was going to posit that the Versus arcade system was just probably written off as like advertising for Nintendo and Konami in this case, to sort of just get the NES, get awareness of the NES and help get the NES into homes. But no, given how much nonsense the damage you take in this game is, I think that it was partially that, and also like, yeah, we're gonna collect a whole bunch of quarters. By just making these games a complete nightmare. Wow. Yeah, I think a big part of this and the necessary hacking was that you press select to insert a coin. There had to be some sort of trigger for that, and obviously if someone didn't sort of hack around that, you wouldn't even be able to start a game. Nick Infante 1992 says, hello, Joey Pink. Well, I'm not running the spandex or anything right now, but, hello. So, again, if you're just joining, or just catching up, this is Versus Castlevania. It's playing on an actual Famicom, and it appears that whatever hackery was done to make this work on an NES causes a whole bunch of graphical problems, which means that if I'm walking left, I basically can't see what's coming in front of me. So if you're thinking, wow, they really screwed over the player by putting invisible pits in this game, no, they waited until the sequel for that. And if I had the holy water... I'd be able to tell where the... Much like in the sequel, I'd be able to tell exactly where the pits are. I wonder... Nope, not this time. Fool me like 3 times, shame on you. Fool me like a 4th or a 5th time, shame on me. Super helpful as always. Is there a single spot in this game where the enemy clearing crucifix is in a place where it's useful? Like, is there one place in this game where that happens? Whoa. That could have gone south really fast. Oh, well there's that time limit that I'd heard about. Wow. Do I get more time when I reach a door, or... Oh, goody. Oh, come on. Humperdee-doo says, what's with all the graphics glitches? And it sends me all the way back. I explained a little bit before, but this is running on an actual Famicom, and I believe that the graphical problems are a result of hacking this to work on home hardware instead of arcade hardware. Or they're a result specifically of me using a Famicom instead of an NES for this hacked ROM to run on. One of those things is what's causing all the graphical problems. I do not currently know which one. of those things is the root of the problem. I do know I keep falling in that pit, though. But yeah, apparently at least we got to witness this alleged time limit, because you know, I'd heard that it was more stringent, but in the first stage it didn't really become a factor. So, but that's apparently accurate, because in the second stage I was running out of time pretty early in the stage, to the point where that didn't really feel like I was given a reasonable amount of time to do what needed to be done. I mean, it's not like I was dawdling. That's frustrating. I don't know why I keep going down to get that crown. Like, I'm not earning enough points to get a 1-up in any of these runs. And the time limit is so stringent that it's probably hurting me a lot more than it's helping me to spend the seconds to go back and get that crown for the points, but... Okay, there we go. Oh, come on. All right. Because there's playoff baseball tonight, this is going to be my last continue. So hopefully I can beat Medusa and we can at least get a glimpse of stage 3, but with all these weird graphical issues, I don't know. I mean, I had her, right? I killed her at the same moment she killed me. And of course, since I didn't get the orb, oh no. Oh, come on. I really feel like even if this was running perfectly smoothly, because, you know, I can... Why do I keep getting that knife? You know, I can see the enemy sprites. I know where they are. You know, but even in a world where this is running just completely smoothly, this is a game for people who didn't think Castlevania was hard enough. And as we've spent a good portion of this week discussing, the original Castlevania in all its various and sundry incarnations is super tough. So I'm not really... Definitely didn't want to do that. You know, I'm not really altogether sure... I'm not really altogether sure at this point who this game is for. Obviously, in 1987 or 88, it was for people who didn't own an NES. Now, not really sure who it's for. Because it's just like, you know, infamously tough game gets tougher. And that sort of very quickly turns into a thing of like, why? For what reason does that need to happen? Perfidious Leaf says, "Hey Joe, what makes this game different from the NES version?" I would say watch the stream from the beginning, probably, if you want a detailed answer to that, because that's mostly what we've been talking about. I would say the biggest things are that you have a restrictive time limit, and the enemies all do way more damage than you would have come to expect them to, if you're familiar with Castlevania. As you can see, that Bone Pillar's Fireball just did 4 points of damage. I was starting to feel kind of good about getting a Medusa, maybe, but nope. Alright. Perfidious Leaf says, "Good God, it's like an inception if the whole dream began to fall apart." Yeah, the graphical glitches are not part of the game as it's supposed to be. I mentioned that earlier several times. So since I'm closing it down now because, you know, baseball, I'm just going to say, you know, the graphical glitches, again, not part of the game as presented. That's due to it being a hacked arcade ROM running on actual NES hardware. But even then, I don't think you'd want to play this unless you have mastered the original Castlevania and are just like, man, I gotta get this again, but harder. Then maybe this is for you. But otherwise, I would stick with the original NES version, or Castlevania 3, or like Super Castlevania 4, something. Anyways, thanks to everybody who hung out for this sort of short stream. I'm taking off now. Go watch the